believe you. I believe you. 3 simple words. 3 simple words that have ultimate deciding power over whether a survivor moves forward or remains with internal dialogue of his or her oppressor in their head. When I think back, I can't remember a happy memory, and when I do, there would be a photo with him in it. What I was told to me that a friend to our family had sexually abused my children was nothing short of horrifying, devastating, and I'm not exaggerating when I say as a mother, this was a day that my heart broke. My face was worthy of an Academy Award with a smile and a high-pitched voice telling her how amazing and brave my daughters are to tell me what had happened. This person had taken away my girls' innocence and childhood away. I hated the world for so long, and with the support of a friend and family, I used that energy to form a charity, the Queen of Hearts Community Foundation in Penrith, to protect kids and support survivors of child sexual abuse, domestic violence and victims of crime, and provide a safe haven to access referrals and resources. I can't prevent child sexual abuse, but hopefully my story and journey may assist another family with their journey. And if it's never happened in their family, perhaps may alert them that pedophiles are known to the family. They groom mum, dad, caregivers to gain access to children and possibly save their family from the nightmare my family have endured and live with every day. My name is Michelle Ellery, the founder of the Queen of Hearts Community Foundation in Penrith. The foundation supports survivors of child sexual abuse, domestic violence and victims of crime on their journey for justice and healing, providing counselling, group programs, art therapy, court support, advocacy and a safe place to seek support and free resources. If you ask 10 people on the street in our community what justice means to them, you might get 10 different answers. If you ask 10 victims of crime what justice means to them, it's likely a common theme will occur. To victims and survivors of crime, justice simply means that they are treated with respect, that they are listened to and actually heard, and that they will have a voice in vital decisions that are made related to their cases as well as to their lives. In Australia today, we would often speak of criminal justice and juvenile justice and even community justice. Yet we seldom hear about victim justice, which is at the very heart and soul of justice in our nation. If victims never reported crimes, we would not be able to identify and arrest violent offenders. If victims didn't cooperate as witnesses in criminal cases and juvenile adjudications, the guilty would remain free to harm again. And if victims don't bravely speak out about the devastating impact of crime on them and those they love, few of us would fully realise the domino effect of crime, and that affects each and every one of us. That those being injured and assaulted and sexually abused are our mothers, our fathers, sons and daughters, sisters, brothers, neighbours and friends. One crime can have many victims. I have stated that our commitment to criminal justice goes far deeper than our desire to punish the guilty or to deter those considering a lawless course. Our laws in Australia should represent the collective moral voice of a free society. a voice that articulates our shared beliefs about the roles of civilised behaviour. There have been hundreds of thousands of people in Australia who have been victimised by crime, women battered, children sexually abused and traumatised, men and women assaulted, countless people murdered, and communities devastated by predators who take advantage of our most vulnerable without remorse, contrition and no regard for our laws or the community they infect. Justice isn't served until victims of crime are. Justice isn't served until victims of crime are treated with dignity and compassion by our criminal and juvenile justice systems. The Queen of Hearts Community Foundation calls upon the Australian Government and Attorney General to amend current sentencing and the maximum sentence become the minimum. Mr Baird states he is pushing for life sentences for pedophiles. The truth is, it already exists. And who will enforce the judge to carry that out? Justice isn't served until victims of crime are informed of all their rights throughout the justice process. Rights that empower them, give them important choices, and offer them opportunities to have a voice in their cases, their future. Rights include information, notification, protection, participation, restitution, and victims' compensation. Justice isn't served until we realise, as a community and as a nation founded on the principles of equal rights for all, that violence affects us all, and that victims' rights represent the very foundation upon which our nation was created. And justice isn't served until all victims of crime can be assured that their offenders will be accountable for their crimes, that our collective efforts focus on preventing future victimisation and promoting individual and community safety. Every time we serve victims and survivors of crime, we're also serving justice. Service comes in many shapes and forms, from simply listening to a survivor who needs to talk about his or her experiences, to asking, is there anything that I can do to help you? To becoming informed about victims' rights and services so that you in turn can inform victims who truly need these resources. You can serve victims as a compassionate family member or friend, or as a volunteer for one of the many programs in our community that provide victims with information, support and assistance. You can serve victims through your support of the criminal justice policies, public policy that promote rights and assistance for victims of crime and accountability for criminal offenders. You can serve victims by referring anyone whom you know is a victim of crime or survivor of crime to Victims Assistance Scheme. My challenge to the government is to realise that justice isn't served until victims are. That justice isn't served until victims' rights and services are not just addressed when elections are looming, but practiced daily. And on a note, I want to tell everybody that is here today, the mere reason I am here is because my children were under 18 at the time of their assaults. So I was their voice in an adult system. You have done as survivors the one thing that people forget. You stood up to the biggest bully that you were ever likely to face in your entire life, whether that was in your head, whether you vocalised it, went through the criminal system, or you're just hanging on there every single day when you wake up, and that I commend you. So please never ever forget what you have gone through to